Hey everybody, Scott here for the Digital Guitar Playground. It is Friday. You made it through another week. Woohoo! Oh, I made it through another week. I spent 2 hours in the dentist chair yesterday. And I still have to go back in 2 weeks to get the permanent crown put back on. Third time's a charm with this motherfucker. Ay, and very expensive. Today, there was a firmware update yesterday for the HX Stomp and the Helix. I don't know if it was for the Podgo or not. I haven't updated the Helix yet because I don't really use it for anything other than an interface. Today, it is getting the feed from the blue box from the balanced output, the XLR output, to the in mic input here, and then it is going out left and right just via the blue box. So we're getting the blue box left and right. Not using the ISO cab today, just to show you what it can sound like. And it sounds just as good as a real cab. It's super hard to tell the difference. And honestly, when things get back to gigging again, I'm just gonna run the XLR out to the front of house and then just have a speaker on stage for me. Because why would you not? Why would you hassle with, soundmen that may not be really good at miking up cabs? They might not give a shit to find the sweet spot. They usually don't. I mean, 99% of the time, they just put a mic there. They don't even whip out a flashlight, So every once in a while, you'll find a guy who's, conscious of where the cone is, but they're not testing it, with their ears. They're just finding a spot and calling it good. So this way you will sound the same everywhere you go. What a godsend, let me tell you. So I'm going to show you some stuff with the new 3.0 update. I've got 8 blocks on the HX Stomp, and I have filled an entire preset with 8 blocks. Since I'm not using any IRs and no amp models, it's easy to use all 8 blocks because even with some of the new effects, they don't use a ton of DSP. One of them, the poly pitch, uses a fair amount, but when you're not using IRs or amp models, like my rig, no sweat. So, shall we? All right, here we are at the big board. Now, I've created a brand new 80s clean preset, 80s clean 2, I'm calling it, because I've still got 7, 8, and 9 on bank number 2 to fill out. So, why not? And it's got 8 blocks. So, what's going on? It's the clean channel with the boost on and the effects loop. No reverb this time because 8 blocks. With 8 blocks, I can add any reverb I want. I don't have to use the Amp1's reverb anymore. So I probably won't be using the Amp1's reverb anymore. I like it just fine, but I like to have the option of having a room reverb, a spring reverb, or a plate reverb. Those are the 3 that I use the most. Probably the 63 spring is the one I use most often, but sometimes, if I'm playing, if I want a really cool police preset, I want a room sound. It doesn't have, big plate reverbs or big, spring reverbs. It's got, usually a room sound. Did I say room or plate? Oh, whatever. It's got a room sound. So, different reverbs for different applications. And that's one of the great things about this rig. Now, all the settings here have basically stayed the same. I did, after some careful, tweaking at the rehearsal room on Wednesday, I did adjust the treble. I brought it up to 5, the mids back up to 5, and the basses at 2.5. Still, nothing has changed over here. Clean volume's still 7, gains at 8, and the master's at 10. So the usual. And on this particular preset, I'm using the expression pedal, which is expression pedal 2. To control the amount of modulation and delays. This particular one, though, has a lot of modulation. It has the most modulation of any any preset I've made in a long time. It has 3 separate blocks. And let me zoom in and show you what's up. It has a lot of stuff. If only I could focus it better. Now, what's going on here, and here's another cool point that I want to show you today, is you can further adjust your EQ in a very subtle way right here, right over here at the input with the gate. Not with the gate, but with the input Z, they call it. So it's basically like a really subtle change of a potentiometer from a very low value to a high value. You can go all the way to 1 meg, which I don't recommend because it's so bright. I'm going to show you the difference between the 10K and the 1 meg. That's the most difference you're going to hear, and I am loving it down in the 10K because I'm always trying to take away brightness from my sound. And it's increasingly difficult when you use digital devices. Now, the Amp 1 is extremely warm sounding, but with the HX Stomp, it tends to be a little bit bright. So I am rolling that way down, and I'll give you demonstrations. I'll start with it on the 1 meg, and then go down to the 10K, and then go back to the 1 meg, and blah, blah, blah. See if you can tell the difference. But anyway, what's happening with the effects on this one, we've got compression, and pushing the expression on the right forward would give me a volume boost, although I'm not going to use it today. Now, the first of 3 modulations is my pitch shifter. It's a dual pitch, and I have set up the expression over here to give me a bunch more, goes from 9 to 11, and one of them's negative, one's positive. It's that 80s trick. Using the new Poly Detune, and with the expression going from 10 to 16. Set the low cut and the high cut to give me, a good full range on that. And the effects loop, blah, blah, blah. If I push the right one forward, I get a little bit of volume boost. You will not hear that today. Now, this is where I settled on my EQ for this clean sound after spending a few hours in the rehearsal room. And I'm no longer cutting the lowest frequency. I'm actually boosting it to get a little bit more natural feel back. Still cutting some top end though. And there's also a 70s chorus. When you push the expression forward, it raises that up, and it raises up the mix. So there are 2 modulations in front of the effects loop and 1 after. Just to mix it up. No real rhyme or reason for it. They sound good in either position. And then with the duck delay, I just get more when I push it forward. And finally, the spring reverb at the end. Nothing changes with the expression on that one. It's just like so. So let me grab a guitar. There you go, everybody. Oh, good times with version 3.0 of the HX Stomp firmware. And I gotta tell you, rolling off the input ohms as if it were a potentiometer on my guitar really warms up the sound. It's a subtle difference, but when you go from the 1 meg all the way down to the, what is it, 22 or whatever, maybe 10 kilohertz or something. I don't know what it says. There's a noticeable difference. To me, anyway. And I really like the way that it sort of warms up the sound. So I'm going to be setting my personal stuff up that way from now on. I've had it on the higher end, but not 1 meg. I've gone 236 or 113 or whatever the one right below 236 is. I think it's 113. And, I've been fine with that. It is a very subtle difference though between those two. Going all the way down really makes it happen for me. And should you be in a situation where you need more top end, just roll up the mic knob. It's not the mic knob. What's it called? The mic position knob. Jesus. On the blue box. Want a little more brightness? Do that. Want a little less? Go left. You don't need to readjust a bunch of presets inside the HX Stomp or EQ on the Blue Guitar Amp 1. Just go left or right. I hope those demonstrations made some sense and help you out. I will see you on Monday with something. I don't know what. I started grinding an power inlet hole on the new pedal board that I'm working on for my friend Steve. And I could only do it for like 20 minutes before my hand felt numb. So it's going to take me all weekend to do it because I can only do it in about 10 to 15 minute stretches. And I've got a stone grinder bit on there because I don't have access to a drill press with a vise to hold that thing in place to, use a hole cutter. That would be so much easier, but what are you going to do? Anyway, I will see you on Monday. And until then, going lefty, rock on.